everybody, and welcome to my porch again. Okay, today we're talking about the weekly oh my gosh, children, welcome to summer. We're talking about the weekly planners, and my gosh, has it been just the most painful journey with these. Okay, so first, as you probably know, or maybe you don't, but this whole entire line was a month late to get delivered here. And just when I thought that was the worst part, these weekly planners have, I don't want to say misprint, because nothing is actually misprinted, but there are 12 pages, which are 12 sheets that have much lower levels of ink than are supposed to. This was a manufacturing issue, and these weren't just any like random notes pages. These are big deal pages. These are all the pages that have your tabs on them. So one side is the monthly dashboard and the other side is the monthly spread. So it's the left-hand side of the monthly spread. So that's where it's most apparent because you can tell the difference. The right hand of the monthly spread is perfect ink. The left side is super faded. So that is why I had to mark these down 50% and mark them as imperfect, because as you know, as a fellow planner, that's just not okay, especially these big deal spreads here. But it is not my standard of excellence that I want for my planner. So it is just right that I mark these down, and I'm getting feedback from a bunch of people saying it's not like that big of a deal and it's still totally usable, which it is. So you could use this to your benefit too. So you can grab these planners at a great price, and you definitely shouldn't have to pay full price for it. So that's reflected on the product listing. I have pictures up on there to show you what that looks like. Let's turn this camera around. We're gonna flip it around and I will walk you through it, and you can see that as well. Let's do the cover to cover walkthrough of the Midyear Weekly Planners, and you can judge for yourself. Here they are, the two Midyear Weekly Planners. So you can tell these are weekly versus our hourly planners because of a few different things. This one is coil, and then these do have the tabs on there. So you can see the tabs run from July through June. Just like the hourly planners, the Midyear Weekly comes in these two cover designs. So we have the sea glass green, which is a linen cover, and then it does have this gold foil detail. And then we have our daisy blue, which is the covered cardboard, and it is smooth, but both are hardcover. So like I said, they are spiral bound, rounded corners. And then the size of these, the actual covers are 7x9. So the inner pages in here are a little bit smaller than that because the actual covers are 7x9. So let's get into these. Now, when you purchase one of these planners, you are going to receive one of these reflection notebooks that come with it. So it's no additional cost. It comes with your purchase of a planner. The cover is going to depend on the cover of your planner. So if you got the daisy blue, you are going to get the daisy blue reflective notebook and sea glass and sea glass. So we'll dive into these in a little bit here, but let's first get into the planner. Okay, we're gonna do our daisy blue. Let me show you the ends pages. So we have an inner pocket right here, and then that's the matching blue here with a sea glass. It's gonna be that same matching cover and matching pocket. So all the weekly planners come with this snap-in stencil bookmark. So you can see it here. I designed these to fit in somewhere in the planner, so you can just play with that, have fun with that, and see where these boxes make sense to you. If you want to create a to-do list, some of these work better in the notes pages, some work better within certain areas. But it's all designed to fit in the spread of planners. So that is your stencil bookmark. And then we have all of our beginning pages. The beginning pages are, without going through all of them exactly, we have kind of our welcome pages first, and then you'll see here our setup steps, and you'll see the setup steps are set up in 3 different ways. So we have kind of in the beginning these 2 big areas, your values and then your big picture. You have the little header up here where it talks about values prep being core values and your intentions, your people, and your hopes for the year. And then it moves into big picture planning, where it gives the year at a glance with the holidays. You're reflecting forward, so what you want less of in the year, more of, and then any kind of common themes. Your year list, which is your yearly bucket list. And then previews, which is basically things you don't want to put in your planner yet, or you just kind of want to plan ahead, big picture plan. This is kind of that preview section here. And then you have a tracker. And then it moves into a couple notes pages. So you have 2 dot grids pages and then 2 notes pages before we move right into what you'll see month after month. So you'll see the dot grid over here, and then you'll see the monthly dashboard over here. Take a closer look at it. You have these 5 different sections here. You get to choose what you want to do with these, which is very exciting for some people and way too broad and scary for other people. So I do have a printout. I will show you. I actually have a video and a free printable that you can print out. It's true to size. It gives you some ideas of what you can do on here, and then you could kind of mock fill it up and see what you want to do on here. So I'll link those in the notes below. But you have your monthly dashboard. As I talked about, it's all these tabbed pages. So it's this dashboard. And then when we get into the left side of the month here, this is where the printing snafu comes into place. You can see it on here. You can tell that it is a lot lighter printing, especially that grid box. You can still see it, but it's very light. But the biggest area that you can see this is when we move to the monthly spread here. And the difference between the two. So this is far too light. This is normal print. And just having that comparison and that contrast just makes it so obvious. And then also, I mean, besides that, even if we didn't have that contrast to make it obvious, this is such light lines printed that this is not my desire for the planner. So as you can see here, the lines versus these lines. So this is what we want to see, and this is what we ended up getting here. So that is why the planners are 25% off. It's imperfect. My loss is your gain, and so I hope this is kind of a blessing to anybody who can handle this lighter printing and be okay with it. You get a big savings on it. Moving on from that, this is the monthly layout. So I absolutely love this monthly layout. The biggest reason I would say is the lined boxes. The lined boxes to help just guide you. You can fit in a lot in these boxes, or if that's too small for you, just take up 2 of the slots there. So this is your oyster. You can do whatever you want with it. But you got the lined boxes. Over here, you have the monthly column. We have 8 check boxes here set into 2 different columns. So you could break it up if you want to do personal business, yourself and your kids, yourself and your spouse, whatever it is. You have that down here. We have the next month calendar, a dot grid for notes or anything else here. And then this checklist up here, as you can see, this is just a reference for you. It's a little reminder for everything in these front pages to be able to every month go back and look at your values, your people, your year list, and your previews, to review those and schedule those into your month. And that's just going to keep all of that top of for everything you set at the beginning of the year. It's just a quick little reminder checklist to do that. Front pages aren't something you do. If you don't want to do this, put a sticker over it. No one has to know. And then the monthly reflection, we'll get to that at the end of the month, but that then refers to the reflection booklets. After the monthly spread, we have 2 lined pages here with header boxes. So you can do whatever you want with this. So I like to do my monthly brain dump here. I've heard people do their finances here. You could do a tracker here, whatever it is that might be more month specific, you can put on these pages. And then we move into our weekly view. I love this layout. I said it before, I will say it again. When I set out to make the spread of planners, this is the first one I made. So this is my first sketch, my first baby in layout, and it's developed a little bit, but the kind of heart of it remains the same. So over on the left hand side, you have your full weekly schedule. So Monday through Sunday, and it is a horizontal layout. On this side, you can put your schedule, any appointments, anything like that. And then on this side, you have 3 check boxes here that you could put a daily 3, gratitude, your meals, whatnot. And then you have 2 extra lines down here. And you can do whatever you want with that. Maybe you do a top 3 to-do list, and in one of those boxes, you do your meal for the evening, whatever it is. Or you could even use, this is where you could grab your stencil bookmark and use, let's see, I think it's this one. See that? You can put that there, and you can draw 2 additional boxes, and you can make that 5 check boxes for each day. You have this area right here, and that is 16 millimeters. You can put your big goal of the week, your project of the week. You can put your intentions for the week. You can write if this is Teacher Appreciation Week or your birthday week or something like that. You can use this as kind of a banner for the week. Otherwise, I've seen people use this for decoration. You can put washi tape up here, stickers up here. This can be used however you want. And then the only other thing that I want to point out on here is this box right here. There is space underneath every day, even if there is a holiday in there, where you could add something else. Maybe it's somebody's birthday, you could put that in there. When I was in the weekly planner, I was putting my meals for the day right in these boxes. So this is all real estate, and this is 11 millimeters. Moving on to the right-hand side, we have our notes dashboard here. 4 main sections here. So you have your to-dos, you have your grid, you have your blank space, and then you have your dot grid down here. Up here, we have 2 columns of to-dos, and each column consists of 10 to-dos. So 20 to-dos total, broken into those 2 columns. And again, just like on the monthly view, you can break this up depending on if that is something you like to do. I always do personal and business, so I do family, home over here, and my own stuff, and then anything to do with spread a planner over here. I always break it up that way. That just works for my brain. Maybe you just use that all as one jumbled to-do list, whatever works for you. So you have 20 to-dos broken into those 2 columns, and then there is enough room for a header if you did want to put that header there. Next, we have our grid down here, and this is 14 by 21. Each of these are 5 millimeters. So these are 5 millimeter boxes, and the same as the dot grid boxes down here are 5 millimeters as well. So this is great. So this little grid area is great. You can set up a weekly tracker so easily in here. You could make a really nice looking list, a grocery list, a packing list, whatever you want here. This could be in nice quotes in here, just anything that you want. Then over here, we have just a blank section. I love just using this for notes. So whether you're on a call, whether you hear something, or you're listening to a podcast, whatever it is, that this is just a great spot for those random notes. And then down here, I actually designed this section originally for a weekly reflection area. So I always had this idea of you'd set your weekly intention up here and then do your weekly reflection down here. If that's how you want to use it, that's fantastic. If not, you could use this as your next week preview. Again, you could do your tracker down here if that's what you want to do. You could just set up your meal plan down here. I've seen that. You get to play around with this and see what really works for you. And the beauty of this, that is all unlabeled, so that what works one week may not work for you the next week, or you have different needs the next week. So you can change it up or keep it the same every single week. So then you just go along. Every week is this layout for 4 or 5 weeks, and then you move on to the next month. Let's enter in our reflection booklets here. Okay, so the cover is this really nice, thick cardboard, cardstock paper. It is bound, and you can see the dates here. So if you plan to keep this on a bookshelf or something, your date is clearly shown there. The back. The ends pages are that blue. You have just who this belongs to, a quick note, and then it gets right into the monthly reflections. So you have 2, 4, 6 pages of reflections for every single month. So you have a calendar here. The way I think about this calendar, because some people feel like this is a little redundant from their planner, but if you are not somebody that keeps your planner at the end of the year, you can put into here things that you want to remember. So places, maybe concerts or where you went for a holiday, just kind of little memorable things that if you look back on this, you can remember those times. Use this for however you want. I personally like to summarize my month, just kind of very high level, maybe what was going on in the country or just kind of general feelings about the month. That's how I do it. And then you write down what's memorable. So I just do like this bullet point of what was memorable for me. So let me show you. Next, these 3 questions over here are about the month. They stay the same every month. This is kind of your funsy page. So what this month, what you were doing, reading, watching, enjoying, etc. Kind of your favorites for the month. And then this question changes every single month, and it's kind of a fun question. Then you have your intentions of what were they, how did it go, and then another changing, more serious question every month. And then you have your looking forward. These 2 questions don't change. This one changes every month. And then your upcoming focus. So you'll notice that it matches here and it all matches within your planner too. That monthly checklist we were talking about, you can look over that in your planner and then put down what your focuses are and then what the priority is. It's kind of tough that first month if you're just getting into reflecting, but when you get into, let's say we're in August, and we're doing what were my intentions, you can look back on the previous month, see your intentions here, so you can fill those out again. I know it seems repetitive, but I'm telling you, friends, when you write things down and you repeat them, even though it feels repetitive, it is actually really good for you. So it's kind of this ability to look back and it's all in one place. Let me show you. This is my actual one. I'll show you my January. So filled out kind of some key things in here. A quick recap of it, some bullet points of what went on. Answered these questions, my intentions, and looking forward here. So that is just a glance of what that looks like filled out. But that is your monthly reflection booklet. And again, so then when you go into your next month, that makes a little more sense if you've done your monthly reflection, if that is something you want to do. You can check it off right there. So we have our dot grid, our monthly dashboard, our monthly spread, the 2 pages, and then our week, and our week, and it repeats over and over again. So moving on to, once we get to the end of the planner, we have our bridge calendar here. So this is meant to help you kind of bridge the gap between planners here. So when you are getting towards, even now, if you're planning into next year, vacations, if you have school schedules, work schedules, whatever it may be, and you don't have your planner yet, you can safely put everything here. You can maybe plan ahead for projects, for vacation time. So you can use this to kind of bridge that gap. And then once you get your new planner, then everything is right here for you. After that, we have a beautiful amount of notes pages. Look at that. There are 41 notes pages in here. So you have all of that, which is just basically a notebook in the back of your planner. In the back here, we have our sticker pages. These fit so beautifully on your month. Let me show you. That fits beautifully in the box there. And then these little guys here, let's just say we are working out, just so nicely in the box there. So you can write what you're doing, working out, having coffee, grabbing dinner with somebody. And you have these short flags, these long flags. And on top of your icons, you have these blank circles as well. So just a fun, pretty sticker sheet. And then we actually have a 2-sided pocket page here. So you have those additional pockets. So that makes 3 total pockets, the 1 in the front and then the 2 back here. And that completes your mid-year weekly planner. Now, before we end this video, let's do a quick pen test and then a couple accessories that would work in here. 5 pens. We have Energel, the Pentel Energel, the Friction, the Papermate, Sharpie, and then my favorite, the Pilot G2. And then we have a mild liner and a color dot. So I'm gonna do this really quick. Okay, so here is my fast writing, everything. Now let's flip it over. Make sure I only have one page. And then there you go. So I think the most you could see is maybe the color dot, very slightly through. I'm also under a very bright light here, but this is super inky and I tend to press hard. So that you can kind of see ghosting through. Really, it is not much at all. You cannot see any ghosting with the writing at all. It's really nice paper. This is 80 pound or 120 GSM paper. It has a slight tooth to it. So it's like a good in-between. It's not super smooth. It's not super toothy. I get a lot of compliments on the paper. So I think you're gonna like it too. And as you can see, it handles your pen really well. Let's talk about accessories here. I think there's two beautiful accessories that go along really well with this. So the first is our mini bookmarks here. It comes in this pack of 4, and you have been seeing them all over here. So here's the 4. They match 4 out of 5 of the covers from the 2026 line. As you can see, one of the covers are featured here. They fit in. And then you see, you can choose your level, whether you want it low, whether you want it super high. Those just fit in so beautifully right there. That way, if you want extra page markers, these are such great options. I love these. Love, love, love these. So you have these. The other great accessory, because you have the spiral here, I have my A5 notebook, and it fits in there as well, is our dashboard here. So you have a weekly dashboard. You have Monday through Sunday on here. And then you have lines back here with a little header. And then you could make that almost a checklist as well. So this fits beautifully in here. If you just wanted to keep this in your planner as a meal plan, you could write your meal plans here and maybe your grocery list back here. You could just keep it in there. Both dry and wet erase will work on here. But I would highly recommend wet erase if you're going to keep it in your planner, because dry erase smudges off a lot easier. Wet erase is going to stay. So I think that is such a big benefit of having the coils here, is having the coil specific accessories that you could get along with your planner. So there she is. That is the OG, now made into mid-year planners. Thank you so much for spending your precious time watching this video. If you have any feedback, any thoughts or anything, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Again, thank you, and I will catch you on the next one. It is not my standard of, my gosh, it is noisy out here. Some guy is using his blower. Their airplanes are taking off at the airport across the street. The porch is a terrible place to record this.
Woo!